All right, the Blue Devils get the first one 9-1. They now lead 2-1 in the series. Victor Gote is on the mound for the Blue Devils. There is a breaking ball right through there for a strike. Gote with a 3.04 ERA on the mound here for the Blue Devils. Everett behind the plate. That ball just catches the outside corner. Breaking pitch as well. So 0-2 the count to Cruz. He leads off. He was 0 for 3 in the first game. There's a swing and a miss for the first out of the game. That's going to bring up Brotman. Brotman, the third baseman. He was 2 for 3 in the first game, had a couple base hits and a strikeout in the first game. He'll step in with one out to face Gote here in the fourth and final game of this series with Neosho County Community College Panthers. Here comes the first pitch to him. Another breaking ball that just catches the inside corner at the waist for a called strike. So Gote on the mound, chucking some strikes right in here. Here comes the 0-1 outside and back to the screen. Griffin Everett catching in the second game to platoon. The field, the outfield, and the infield the same. Here comes the 1-1 pitch from Gote. Strike two called. Santiago at third, Bednar at short, Harder at second, Hinestroza at first, Henry in left, Acosta in center, and Harrison in right. Here comes the 1-2 to Brotman. There is a swing and a miss for another strikeout. That's going to bring up Garrison. Garrison was 0 for 2 in the first game, flew out to center field a couple times in a walk. He'll step in with 2 outs and nobody on. Here in the early going, top of the first action, this is a scheduled 9-inning game. There's a breaking ball, catches the outside corner. So 0-1 the count to Garrison, the catcher. Comes the 0-1. Outside, ball one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs. Little bit low, ball 2, 2-1. Gote from Kissimmee, Florida. That ball is just a little bit high. So 3-1 the count on the catcher, Garrison. Just misses outside, so he will 2-out walk to Garrison. It's going to bring up Adam Tice, the second baseman. He was 0 for 2 with a couple of pop-outs and a walk in the first game. He'll step in with Garrison at first and 2 outs. Outside. 1-0. Top of the first action in the final game of this 4-game series. 2 games yesterday was a split. First game today to the Blue Devils. Outside, ball 2, 2-0. Outside, ball 3. So 3-0 to the second baseman, Adam Tice. Garrison, the catcher, worked a 2-out walk. Comes the 3-0. Strike called at the knees outside corner. 3-1 the count. Comes the 3-1 from Gote. Must have missed high. I don't think it was out. So back-to-back walks with 2 outs. So 2 strikeouts, followed by 2 base on balls. That's going to bring up the right field Thrasher. Thrasher was 0 for 3 in the first game with a couple of ground outs and a fly out. He'll step in with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Want to know the count. There's a ground ball at Bednar. Bednar's up with it and over to Hinestrosa for the 3rd out of the inning. The end of half an inning, no score. We'll be back. Josh Flack on the mound for the Panthers. He has an 8.17 ERA. A right-hander. He's from Shawnee, Kansas. He will face Harder, Hinestrosa, and Santiago. Harder was 0 for 4 with a couple of ground outs and a couple of fly outs in the first game. He'll step in to lead off the bottom half of the first for the Blue Devils facing Flack. And there is a base hit right into left field on the first pitch for Harder. It's going to bring up Hinestrosa. Hinestrosa was 3 for 4 in the first game, had a ground out and then 3 base hits. First pitch is high, ball 1. So 1-0 to Hinestrosa, the first baseman, as he bats here with nobody out and Harder at first base after that. A line drive base hit into left field. There's a throw over to first, back in safely. Was Harder. Takes high, ball 2. Two and 0 the count. Misses high and outside, ball 3, so 3-0 to Hinestrosa. Brockman Brotman on the edge of the grass at third. Comes a 3-0. That ball's a little bit high for ball 4. So a base hit by Harder, followed by Hinestroza with a base on balls, and that's going to bring up Santiago with nobody out and 2 runners on. Santiago was 1 for 3 in the first game, had a line drive out, a base on balls, but he did have a home run to lead off the 3rd inning. He'll be up there with nobody out and runners at first and second. There's a ground ball headed up the middle to second and over to first. So a 6-4-3 double play. That was pretty much tailor-made for the shortstop where he was playing. So a 6-4-3 double play. Harder moves to third, and that's going to bring up Jose Sosa. Sosa moves to the 4 spot. Here comes the first pitch to him. That ball stays. A strike called. Kind of a late call. Breaking pitch made it down to the zone. Sosa was 2 for 3 with a home run and a base hit. That another strike. So 0-2 the count. Sosa walked, then had a base hit, then grounded out, then led off the 6th inning with a home run. So 0-2 the count with 2 outs here. There's a swing and a miss. A little bit of excitement by the Neosho crowd after the double play and then the strikeout. There hasn't been much excitement for them. We'll take a break. We'll be back. No score at the end of 1. To the top of the 2nd we go. The first baseman, Donovan Sudi, will lead off. He'll be followed by Dagan Brady and Chase Curtis, scheduled to face Gote. Sudi is from Paola, Kansas. Strike called at the knees. 0-1 the count on the first baseman, Sudi. Outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to the first baseman. Top of the 2nd action, no score here in the 2nd game. Blue Devils took the first one 9-1. There's a strike right through there at the waist, inside part of the plate. 1-2 the count. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the first baseman. He's the number 6 hitter. He's leading off here in the top of the 2nd inning. fly ball down the right field line and fouling out of play. Comes the 2-2. Just misses inside. Looked pretty good from my chair, but not good enough to get the umpire to punch him out. So 3-2 the count here on Sudi. There's a line drive back up the middle. So Sudi with a base hit up the middle to lead off the top of the second for the Panthers. It's going to bring up Dagan Brady. Dagan, the designated hitter here in the second game. Brady starts the day batting 143. Squares to bunt, pulls back, takes ball one. Brady is from Topeka, Kansas. 1-0 the count, nobody out. Sudi leads away after that base hit from first. Squares to bunt. There is a foul ball bunt. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Brady. Comes the 1-1. Squares to bunt. Pulls back, takes a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Santiago down, steps back a few steps at third. Double play depth up the middle. Hinestrosa holding Sudi at first. There's a swing and a miss of that breaking ball for a strikeout. It's going to bring up Chase Curtis. Curtis, the left fielder. He had a base hit and called out on strike in the first game. He'll step in with 1 out and a runner at first. Strike outside corner at the knees. 0-1 the count. Gote on the mound. Comes the 0-1. Breaking ball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on here in the first. It's a ground ball. Santiago up with it over to first. 1 hopper. Hinestrosa cannot get it. We'll see how that's scored. I think that if he makes that throw on the money, it is an out. So probably a throwing dope's going to be scored a hit. So a hit by Curtis. So change to an error. Then got the other one. Very good. So we got a hit, and then the error on the throw lets it move up to second and third. That's going to bring up Kassane. Kassane had 2 strikeouts. Actually, he struck out once in the first game. He's up there with runners at second and third and 1 out. Foul ball out of play down the left field line. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Cassane at the plate is the center fielder. A little bit high, 2-1 the count. Time asked for by Cassane and granted. Two balls and a strike. Gote trying to work his way out of the trouble. There is a suicide squeeze. We're going to have a suicide squeeze, and we get one person tagged out in the rundown and then the second one at home for the third out of the inning. We will go to the bottom half of the second. No score. No score. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. Kind of a bizarre suicide squeeze. The ball is not even reachable and end up with a double play out of that. That ball misses inside, so 1-0 to Henry. Henry had a ground out, then 2 doubles, and a home run, so 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. Foul ball there, so 1 ball and 1 strike to the left fielder, Tyler Henry. High and outside. 2-1 the count on Tyler Henry. Check swing, and he couldn't hold up, so 2-2 the count on that high fastball. One and two. Strike 3 called. That ball just catches the outside corner. It's going to bring up Griffin Everett. Everett is from Lincoln, Nebraska. He's the platoon catcher. He starts the day batting .308. He steps in with 1 out. Takes strike 1 called. 0-1 the count on Everett. There's a ground ball headed for left field, so a base hit for the catcher Everett. It's going to bring up Bednar. Bednar, the shortstop. Kemper was 0 for 4 in the first game with 3 strikeouts and a fly out to right field. visited with him just a little bit in between games. He said, I need to give him a little bit of luck. And I said, no, you need to get back in the batter's box and just do it. You'll be fine. Swing and a miss of that one there. So 0-1 the count. You know, the only thing you can hope for when you go 0 for 4 is that your team is able to pick you up back in safely on that throw over to first, is for your team to pick you up and still win a game 9-1 when you went over, and then your next game you come back and hope you can get after it. So that's what he'll be doing here. 0-1, squares the bunt, puts it down. Third baseman has it and down to first. So he moves the runner to second base for the second out of the inning. So that'll bring up Caleb Harrison. Caleb will step in. He had a bunt hit and then a couple of walks in the first game. He takes a little bit high, check swing, and takes the ball high, so 1-0. He's got 2 outs and a runner at second base in Everett. There's a strike inside corner at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. No score here in the bottom of the second. Need to get my graphic on the front changed. I'll get that here in a second. Outside, ball 2, 2-1 the count. Ball gets past the catcher, moves to third. Does Griffin Everett. So 3-1 the count on Harrison, the right fielder. Three and one, 2 outs. The first run of the game, possibly 90 feet away, turns to bunt and headed to first and safe. We're going to have a bunt hit by Caleb Harrison and make that an RBI bunt hit here with 2 outs to put the Blue Devils on the board and in the lead 1-0 here in the early going. It's going to bring up Eduardo Acosta. Costa fouls that one back to the screen. Costa had 2 doubles and a fly out in the first game. Those 2 doubles accounted for 3 of the 9 runs by Eduardo. So 0-1 the count. He's got a runner at first. There's a ground ball headed up the middle, picked off by the shortstop and over to the second baseman at the end of 2 full innings. Blue Devils have taken a 1-0 lead. We'll be back for the third. Victor Gote back to the mound for his third inning of work. Top of the third action we go. Sam Kassane will step back in. He was not able to get anywhere close to that suicide squeeze bunt. It was way high and outside, and it ultimately ended in a double play of rundowns. There is a 3 unassisted out on the center fielder, Kassane, so that'll bring up Aranda. Aranda struck out, swinging his first time up. He'll step in with 1 out and nobody on. His Panthers trailing the Blue Devils 1-0 here in the third. That's outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count. A little bit low and outside, 2-0. Comes the 2-0. Strike at the knees, outside portion of the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Comes the 2-1. Strike 2 called. 2-2 the count, 1 out. Aranda up there batting in the third with 1 out. Foul ball back to the screen. First game was a 7. Blue Devils took it 9-1. This game is scheduled 9. There is a foul ball. Defensive swinging was Aranda and gets just a piece of it. The ball gets a piece of Griffin Everett. Two and two the count to the shortstop, Cruz Aranda. He bats here with 1 out in the top of the third for his Panthers. They trail by 1. That misses just a little bit high, so 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. It's a high fly ball lifted to center field. Over taking a look at that is Acosta. He takes care of that for the second out of the inning. It's going to bring up Brotman, the third baseman. He struck out his first time up. He'll step in with 2 outs and nobody on here in the top of the third. Strike, fastball, outside corner at the knees. Oh and 1. Breaking pitch, fouled off of the foot of the batter. Comes the wind and the 0-2 by Gote. My goodness, that looked close. How about to you guys out there watching? 1 ball, 2 strikes. The top side of the zone is not very high in this second game, but consistently there. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Gote to Brotman. Swing and a miss. Down to first, third out recorded. We go to the bottom of the third. Blue Devils up 1-0. Bottom of the third we go. Scheduled to face Flack is Harder, Hinestrosa, and Santiago. Harder has 38 hits on the season, 1 home run. He takes high ball 1. Ball 2, 2-0. Harder, the second baseman, number 13. Righty versus righty. Ball's in the dirt, ball 3. Harder had a base hit into left field his first time up. Inside, ball 4. It's going to bring up Hinestrosa. Hinestrosa walked in the first. Hinestrosa has 42 hits with 1 home run. Takes ball 1. Nine doubles and 2 triples and 1 home run. There's a ground ball headed up the middle. Going to get the fielder's choice at second, but safe at first. So fielder's choice, Hinestrosa reaches. It's going to bring up Santiago. Kevin hit into a 6-4-3 double play his first time up. Santiago has 33 hits, 10 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. Actually, 3 home runs because he had one. He turns on that one, lines it foul down the third baseline. So 0-1 the count on the third baseman, Santiago. The ground ball out in front. Third baseman's going to have to make a good play. He makes a very good play. Chargin takes that one, throws it down to first. So Santiago out on a nice play by the third baseman, Brockman. So that's going to bring up Sosa. Sosa struck out his first time up. First pitch to him is low, ball one. Sosa has 40 hits, 12 doubles, a couple of triples, and 2 home runs. Strike called, that breaking pitch right through there. Sosa had a home run in the first game, so that would actually be 3 home runs on the year. Comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss. One ball, 2 strikes on Jose Sosa. He's batting here with 2 outs, a runner at second. Blue Devils lead 1-0 as they bat here in the bottom of the third. The final and 9-inning game. Fouls that breaking pitch back to the screen. Sosa, the designated hitter. One and two, he's down in the count. Nicely blocked by the catcher, Brady Garrison. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Foul ball, we'll do the 2-2 again. Comes the 2-2. It's a ground ball headed at the shortstop. He's up with it, and a nice pick by the first baseman. A little snow cone one hopper for the 3rd out of the inning. So we go to the top of the 4th. Blue Devils will lead 1-0. We'll be back. Top of the 4th. Gote back for his 4th inning of work. Garrison, Tice, and Thrasher scheduled up. Garrison walked his first time up. That ball misses a little bit up. Top side of the zone really tight in this second game. Garrison has 36 hits with 36 RBI, 5 home runs. That ball misses a little bit low. 2-0 the count to Brady Garrison. Comes the 2-0. outside ball 3. So 3-0 the count on Garrison. Bats in the number 3 spot. He is leading off the top of the 4th for Neosho. Here comes the 3-0. Strike called outside corner at the knees. One zero lead here in the top of the 4th. Strike inside corner. The Neosho faithful getting on the umpire on that one. Here comes the 3-2. There's a ground ball at Santiago. He retreats, long throw, and he is safe. So that's going to be an infield hit for Brady Garrison. High chopper, and Santiago had to retreat almost back to the grass, and the throw not there in time. So that's going to bring up Adam Tice. Tice walked his first time up. Fouled the bunt off of his foot. Tice has 26 hits on the year, 9 doubles, a triple, and a couple of home runs. 0-1 the count. See if the bunt stays on. It does not. So 0-2 after that swing and a miss on Adam Tice, the second baseman. Garrison at first, nobody out. Panthers batting here in the top of the 4th. The fly ball down the right field line and out of play. Gote, the starter of the game, still in there in the top of the 4th. There's a foul ball down the third base line. So do the 0-2 again. Oh, and 2 to Tice, the second baseman. Comes the 0-2 pitch. Breaking pitch right through the outside part of the plate for a called strikeout. So that accounts for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Khalil Thrasher, the right fielder. He grounded out to the shortstop his first time up. Thrasher has 30 hits. He swings and misses that one. 6 doubles, 3 triples, and 3 home runs. Oh, and 1 the count on him with 1 out. Outside, Griffin Everett keeps that in front of him so the runner can't move up. Garrison led off the inning with an infield hit to the third baseman. Then Tice was called out on strikes, and that's where we are right now with 1 out. 1-1 the count. There's a swing and a miss. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to the right fielder, Thrasher. Comes the 1-2. Blocked nicely by the catcher, Everett. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the right fielder, Thrasher. Comes the 2-2 from Gote. Outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and an out. Runner at first. Top of the 4th action. Swing and a miss on that fastball inside. So 2 outs to the first baseman, Sudi. Sudi had a base hit to center field his first time up. Down the right field line and foul. Donovan Sudi, the first baseman, number 19. Comes the 0-1 to him. Breaking pitch, driven into right center. Going to be extra bases. Coach is going to hold Harrison up at third, so a double into right center for Sudi. That's going to bring up Dagan Brady, the designated hitter. Going to have a quick visit to the mound by Griffin Everett. Brady, the designated hitter in this second game. Visit over. Dagan Brady stepping in. 2 outs, runners at second and third. Garrison at third. Sudi at second. Strike called on the inside corner. High and inside, 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs to the designated hitter, Brady. Comes the 1-1. Foul ball back to the screen. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dagan Brady. Comes the stretch and the pitch from Gote. That ball. Now, I'm going to have to say that there's been some times that maybe some balls and strikes have been questionable, but that ball is foul. It starts out fair. It goes past the bag on the ground, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We'll do it again. Foul ball backing out of play, so we'll do the 1-2 again. Top of the 4th action, scheduled 9-inning game. Swing and a miss for the 3rd out. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. Blue Devils leading 1-0. Back for his fourth inning of work is the Panther pitcher, Josh Flack. He's scheduled to face Henry, Everett, and Bednar. Henry was called out on strikes his first time up. That ball is inside for ball one. Comes the 1-0. There's a ball hit into right field. Caught by the right fielder, Thrasher, with a nice play. It's going to bring up Everett. Everett had a base hit to left field his first time up. There is a line drive down the left field line and foul. Triples. Henry has 6 and Everett has 4 for first and third in the conference with triples currently. 0-1 the count on Everett. There's a strike called inside corner at the knees. 0-2 the count. Foul ball on a check swing. Josh Flack on the mound here in the bottom of the fourth. He was the starting pitcher in the second game for the Panthers. Comes the 0-2. Strike 3 called inside corner at the knees. It's going to bring up Kemper Bednar. He had a sac bunt his first time up. He'll be up there with 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom of the fourth. High fly ball to right center. Everybody chasing. And the second baseman makes a nice play to bring that one down. So Adam Tice with a nice play. We go to the top of the fifth. Blue Devils 1-0. Top of the fifth inning. Curtis, Cassane, and Aranda scheduled up for the Panthers. Gote back to the mound for his fifth inning of work. Blue Devils lead 1-0, top of the fifth action. There's a strike outside corner at the knees. Strike called. 0-1. Comes the 0-1. Just misses a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Curtis. There's a breaking pitch for a strike called. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The left fielder, Curtis, at the plate. Outside all the way back to the screen. So 2-2 the count as Curtis leads off the top half of the 5th inning for Neosho. Two balls, 2 strikes. Inside just a bit. So 3-2 the count. There's a ground ball for Hinestroza. He's got it. Steps on the bag for the first out of the inning. That brings up Kassane. Kassane was out on a 3 unassisted his last time up. He'll be up there with 1 out, nobody on. Outside and high, ball 1. One and 0 the count. Winding the pitch. Foul ball out of play over the third base dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Comes the 1-1. Breaking pitch right through there. Inside part of the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the center fielder, Kassane. Strike 3 called. Eight strikeouts for Gotay. Back to the top of the order, and Cruz Aranda. First inning he struck out. Third inning he flew out to center field. He'll step in with 2 outs and nobody on. Outside, ball 1. Comes the 1-0. Strike called. 1 ball, 1 strike at the knees, outside part of the plate. Aranda, the shortstop. Here comes the 1-1 to him. There's a line drive base hit into right field. So a 2-out hit for Aranda. It's going to bring up the third baseman, Brotman, Andrew Brotman. He's been out on strikes 2 times in this second game. He'll be up there with 2 outs and a runner at first. Swing and a miss. 0-1 the count. Comes the stretch and the 0-1. Throw over Aranda back in safely. Comes the stretch and the 0-1. Ground ball headed at the third baseman, Santiago, over to Harder for the force out at the end of 4.5. We're halfway through this one. Blue Devils lead 1-0. Here we go to the bottom of the fifth. Scheduled up is Harrison, Acosta, and Harder. Harrison accounts for the only run in this game. He had a bunt hit that scored Everett from third. He steps in here to lead off the bottom of the fifth. Ball all the way back to the screen. Josh Flack back for his fifth inning of work. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike to the right fielder, Caleb Harrison. Strike called inside corner at the knees. 1-2 the count. Stretch in the 1-2. Outside ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the fifth for the Blue Devils. Costa waits on deck. He's the center fielder. Comes the 2-2. The fly ball lifted to right center. The right fielder, Thrasher, comes over to take care of that for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up Acosta. Acosta grounded into a fielder's choice. Shortstop to second base, a 6-4 fielder's choice. His first time up. He'll step in with 1 out and nobody on. Ground ball foul down the third baseline. Owen won the count. Flack to Acosta. Way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. High ball 2. Comes the 2-1 inside. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike to the number 9 hitter, the center fielder, Eduardo Acosta. Fly ball deep down the left field line and fair. So Acosta with a home run here in the bottom of the fifth. The second run of the game for the Blue Devils. That makes it 2 8-0. The Blue Devils lead with one out here in the bottom of the fifth. There's a base hit by Harder right up the middle. He had a base hit to left field. Thought about taking two, decided not. That's going to bring up Hinostroza. He's walked and hit into a fielder's choice to the second baseman. He'll be up there with one out and a runner at first base. Outside ball one. Fourth home run of the day for the Blue Devils. There's a swing and a miss. Runner headed to second and out at second. So now 2 outs and 1-1 the count on Hinostroza. Check swing, 2 balls and a strike. So Acosta with the home run. The Blue Devils with 1 in the second and 1 so far here in the fifth, still batting with 2 outs. That pitch is called a strike. Two balls, 2 strikes, and an out to Hinostroza. There's a fly ball to right center. That ball's going to drop. So a base hit for Hinostroza to right center. That's going to bring up Santiago, the third baseman. He's grounded in to a double play and grounded out to the third baseman. He'll step in with 2 outs and a runner at first. After that 2-out hit by Hinostroza. Breaking ball right through there, outside part of the plate for a strike. 0-1. Foul ball out of play over the first base dugout. Going to the count to Santiago. Breaking pitch lined into right field. Hinostroza started to hold up, then bobbled just a little bit by the right fielder, and Hinostroza to third, and Santiago in to second. It's going to bring up Sosa. Sosa will step in with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Sosa has struck out and grounded out in this second game. There's a foul ball over the right side. Hinostroza at third, Santiago at second. Here comes the 0-1 to Sosa. Fly ball into right field. Thrasher taking a look at that, and he's got it. So at the end of 5 full innings, Blue Devils lead 2-0. We'll be back. Victor Gote back to the mound for his 6th inning of work. Scheduled up Garrison, Tice, and Thrasher. Garrison has a walk and a base hit in this second game. Takes high ball 1. Comes the 1-0. Outside and low, ball 2. Breaking pitch catches the corner. 2 balls and a strike to Garrison. Comes the wind and the 2-1. That breaking pitch just misses. 3-1 the count. Garrison with a good eye. Catchers are supposed to have those. Here comes the 3-1. There is a foul ball off his leg. So 3-2 the count. Garrison leading off the top of the 6th for Neosho Panthers. Comes the wind in the 3-2. Outside, ball 4. So a leadoff walk to Garrison. That's going to bring up Tice. Tice, the second baseman, he's walked and been called out on strikes in this second game. He'll be up there with a runner at first in Garrison and nobody out. Foul ball down the third baseline. Owen 1 to Tice. Breaking pitch right through there. Inside part of the plate. 0-2. Breaking pitch called strike 3. Nine strikeouts for Gote. It's going to bring up Thrasher. He's grounded out and struck out. He's up there with 1 out and a runner at first. Pitch is high, ball 1. One and 0 the count to the right fielder. Ground ball at Harder. He's going to take a look at second, decide to go to first for the second out. That's going to bring up Sudi. Sudi's the first baseman. He has a base hit and a double. So 2 for 2 in this second game. 2 outs, runner at second. There's a swing and a miss to the first baseman, Sudi. There's a ground ball up the middle, up and over to first is Bednar to Hinestroza for the third out. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Blue Devils lead 2-0. Bottom of the sixth action. Flack back for his sixth inning of work. Scheduled up Henry, Everett, and Bednar. Henry's been called out on strikes and hit a line drive to right field. He'll be up there leading off the bottom of the sixth for the Blue Devils. They lead 2-0. First pitch is lined into right center for a base hit. So one pitch and a base hit for Tyler Henry. It's going to bring up Griffin Everett. He had a base hit to left field, his first at bat in the second, and then called out on strikes in the fourth. He'll step in with nobody out and a runner at first. In the dirt, blocked, and gets away, but Henry did not get a good read on where that one kicked away to and was not able to move up. Comes the 1-0. Just misses a little bit low. Two and 0 the count to Everett. A little bit low, ball 3. Ball 4, inside and low. I think 4 pitches in a row I just said low, and there's just not low balls on this umpire. Going to get a visit to the mound. Got runners at first and second here in the bottom of the sixth with nobody out. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Visit over. Kemper Bednar, the shortstop, will step in. He's got a sac bunt and a fly out to right center. The second baseman did a great job to go out and take care of that. They're going to come rushing at him, and he's going to swing right at him. The second baseman and the shortstop were sprinting right at Bednar, and he swings and misses that first pitch. So 0-1 to Bednar. Now, I'm kind of a spiteful guy. I'd love to see a bunt hit right here. So nobody out, and he is going to be safe at first with a bunt hit. The second baseman, a little bit late getting there, caused the pitcher to have to double clutch, and by that time he's safe at first. So the bases are now loaded for Harrison. Harrison has a bunt single and a fly to right field. See if he can get something on the outfield grass and get a little insurance here. Only a 2-0 lead in this one. Bases full of Blue Devils. Swing and a miss of that first offering down the middle. Swing and a miss. Henry at third, Everett at second, Bednar at first. Harrison, the right fielder, at the plate. See if he can get something on the outfield grass against Flack and the Cardinals. Inside, nicely blocked by the catcher, Garrison. One and one the count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. So 1 ball, 2 strikes on Harrison. Harrison, the number 8 hitter in the lineup. He's batting here with the bases loaded and nobody out. Fouled that one back to the screen. One and two to Caleb Harrison. Swing and a miss for the first out of the inning. So that's going to bring up Acosta. Acosta is grounded into a fielder's choice and had a home run in this game. But in the 2 games today, he is 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and 4 RBI with the 2 doubles and the home run. He'll be up there with a 1 out and the bases loaded. That's high, ball 1. One and 0 the count. High fly ball into shallow right field. Deep enough we're not going to get an infield fly. The runner bluffed going toward home, and that caused a throw to third, and it goes over the third baseman's head. So the run does score on the throw. So the aggressive look by Henry. Henry takes a couple of hard steps, and the right fielder tries to throw behind him and throws it over his head, and the run scores. There's a nicely blocked ball by Garrison. So 3-0 the lead. 2 outs. Strike called. 1 ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. So unfortunately, Acosta does not get. There's a strike called. Or did he leave that as a ball? What we got, guys? Was it a strike called? Yep, 1-2. Thank you. 1 and 2. So Acosta will not get a sac fly, but the run does score. Nicely blocked again by Garrison. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Harder at the plate. He's got a couple of base hits in this game. He's going to battle, so there's a foul ball. We'll do the 2-2 again. Two for 2 with a couple of base hits and a walk. This second game comes the 2-2. There's a ground ball headed for left field. That's going to score 1, possibly 2. That is going to score 2. So a base hit to left field for Harder, and he's got a single with 2 RBI to make it 5. It's going to bring up Hinestroza. He'll step in with 2 outs and a runner at first He's got a walk, a ground out on a fielder's choice, and a base hit. There's a swing and a miss. Owen won the count on Hinestroza. Strike called at the knees outside half of the plate. Owen 2, flack to Hinestroza. Foul ball out of play over the third base dugout. Comes the pitch. High and outside, ball 1. 1-2 the count to the first baseman, Hinestroza. Throw over to first, back in safely is Acosta. Harder. Swing and a miss for the third out of the inning. So we go to the top of the 7th. Blue Devils leading 5-0. We'll be back. Gote gives way to Jose Amaro. Amaro will face Brady Curtis and Cassane. Strike 1 outside corner. Amaro with a 6.75 ERA. There's a base hit into left field. Amaro is from Sidra, Puerto Rico. Gives up a base hit to left field to Brady. That'll bring up Curtis. He's had a base hit and grounded out to the first baseman. His 2 times up in this game. Misses outside, ball 1. Curtis, the left fielder. Nobody out, runner at first. Nicely blocked by Everett. So a base hit to lead off the top of the 7th for the Neosho Community College Panthers. Chase Curtis at the plate, 2-0 the count. Outside ball 3, so 3-0 the count to the left fielder Curtis. Strike called at the knees, down the middle. Three balls and a strike. Runner at first is Brady. Strike 2 called at the knees, inside part of the plate. So 3-0 now, 3-2 to Chase Curtis. It'll be strike 3 called. Ten strikeouts in the game. 9 for Gote, 1 for Amara. There's a ball headed for the gap in right center. That's going to be extra bases. Going to have the runner is going to score, so an RBI double for Sam Cassane. Plug that gap in right center for an RBI double. So 5-1 the score. So back to the top of the order is Aranda. One out, runner at second. Cassane after that RBI double. There's a strike called on Aranda. Aranda has struck out, flown out, and had a base hit to right field. He's up there with one out and a runner in scoring position at second. Squares to bunt, takes high. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on, 1 in for the Panthers as they bat here in the top of the 7th. This a scheduled 9-inning game, the last game of the 4-game series. Inside ball 2, 2 balls and a strike. Comes the 2-1. Strike called outside part of the plate at the knees. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and an out. 5-1 now the lead for the Blue Devils. Comes the 2-2 in the dirt, nicely blocked by Everett. Sometimes your chances of blocking that one that's way out in front of the plate, that 57-footer is kind of tough to block, but he keeps that one from going back to the screen. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and an out. Foul ball back and out of play, so hanging in there with a battle is Aranda. So we'll do the 3-2 again. The line drive headed into left field. That's going to hit in front of Tyler Henry. He gets it in quick. So a base hit for Aranda keeps things moving here for the Panthers. So 1 out, runners at the corners. Cassane at third. Going to have a visit to the mound. Cassane at third, Aranda at first, 1 out. We'll be back right after this visit to the mound. All right, visit to the mound is over. Amara stays in. Throw back over to first, back in safely is Aranda. Brotman steps in. He's got a couple of strikeouts and grounded into a fielder's choice at the shortstop. There's a foul ball back to the screen. So 0-1 the count on Brotman. Throw over to first. Safely is Amaro. Excuse me, Aranda. Owen won the count. Thrown over to first a couple of times. On one to Brotman. Brotman, the third baseman. He's up there with one out and runners at the corners for his Panthers. They trail 5-4 as they bat here in the top of the seventh. Here comes the pitch. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Throw over to first, back in safely. Action in the bullpen. Not sure if we're buying a little bit of time to get him ready. I'm not a big fan of all the throws to first with a guy on third. There's a ground ball at Santiago over to second for the out, safe at first. So a run scores on the fielder's choice by Brotman. But the second out of the inning is recorded. Makes it a 5-2 game. Brings up Garrison. Garrison launches that one, but foul. 2 walks and a base hit in this second game by Garrison. Had a walk and a couple of flyouts in the first game. 0-1 on him. There's a pop-up going to get back out of play over behind us. 0-2 the count on Garrison. Seems like we've been behind Garrison in the count each at bat, but in this one got him down 0-2. See if we can get him retired to get us through this top half of the seventh with just 2 runs in. Outside 0-2. Excuse me, 1-2. 1-2 the count, 2 outs. Brotman at first. Just misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Comes the pitch in the dirt. Nicely blocked by Everett. Runner goes, the ball hit up the middle. Bednar up with it over to first for the out. So the runner goes. Bednar goes deep in the hole behind second base, throws him out. So at the end of 6.5, Blue Devils lead 5-2. We'll be back. All right, we go to the bottom half of the seventh. Pitching change for the Panthers. Chris Klosser. Almost looks like it'd be closer, but since they're behind, we won't call it closer. We'll leave it at Klosser. He has a 3.0 ERA. He is from Shawnee, Kansas. First pitch outside to Santiago. He's grounded out a couple of times and had a base hit to right field. Takes 2-0 from Klosser, the lefty that's on in relief of Flack. Santiago, Sosa, and Henry scheduled up. There's a pop-up. Going to try and get out of play, but it's not going to. And the first baseman, Sudi, with a nice play over by the first base dugout for the out. It's going to bring up Sosa. Sosa has struck out, grounded out, and flown out in this third game. He'll be up there with one out, nobody on, outside ball one. Comes the 1-0 from Klosser. Foul ball down the right field line and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. Blue Devils batting here in the bottom of the seventh. They are leading 5-2. Just misses a little bit outside. 2 balls and a strike to Sosa. Fly ball headed for right center. The ball is going deep and caught by the center fielder. Thought that might get away from him as it was slicing away. The center fielder, Kassane, runs that down for the second out of the inning. It's going to bring up Tyler Henry. He's been called out on strikes, lined out to right field, and had a base hit to right field. The ball headed for center field. Coming on hard for that. Can't get to it is Kassane. And Tyler Henry has a base hit to left center. That's going to bring up Griffin Everett, who's had a base hit, called out on strikes, and walked. He'll be up there with 2 outs and a runner at first in Tyler Henry. Strike called at the waist, inside part of the plate, 0-1. Two runs on 9 hits in air for the Panthers. 5 runs on 12 hits in an air for the Blue Devils. Ball's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. The only 2 runs by the Panthers came in the top of the 7th. Blue Devils with 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 5th, and 3 in the 6th. That must have been a little bit down. 2 balls and a strike. Comes the pitch. Foul ball down the right field line and out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Final game of the 4-game series. 2 yesterday was a split down at Neosho. There's a ball in the dirt, nicely blocked by Garrison. The Blue Devils took the first one today, 9-1. This final game is a 9-inning game. currently stands at 5-2 with the Blue Devils leading as they bat here in the 7th. There is ball 4 to Everett. So he's got back-to-back walks. That's going to bring up Kemper Bednar. Bednar had a sac bunt, popped out into shallow right field on a great play by the second baseman. And then a bunt hit his last time up. The bunt hit his last time up. That might have been an RBI. Not sure. I didn't get it marked down. 2 outs, 2 on. There he's swinging on the first pitch, and that's going into center field. And the center fielder takes care of that for the 3rd out of the inning. So we go to the top of the 8th. Blue Devils leading 5-2. To the top of the 8th we go. New pitcher for the Blue Devils, Matt Fred. He's scheduled to face Tice, Thrasher, and Sudi. First pitch is ball 1. Five to 2 the lead. Top of the 8th action. Little strike called. Thought it was going to be a little outside. I guess not. 1 ball, 1 strike to Tice. Tice has walked once and been called out on strikes twice. There is strike 2 called. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the number 4 hitter as he leads off here in the top of the 8th. He's down in the count 1-2. Going to maybe check him here. Ball bounces away. Going to call safe. That's the easy thing to do. Did I just say that? It's the easy thing for the umpire. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Tice. Fred on in relief of Amara and Gote. There's a a foul ball over to the third base dugout. Comes the pitch. Ground ball up the middle and gets past Bednar. We'll see how that's scored. It's going to be an error on Bednar. Fred on the mound is from St. Mary's. So Tyson by an error. That's going to bring up Thrasher. Thrasher has grounded out twice and struck out once in this second game. That ball's high, ball one. Runner at first, nobody out to the number 5 hitter, Khalil Thrasher. Foul ball back and out of play. One ball, one strike, nobody out. Comes the 1-1 in the dirt. That's going to let the runner move up. It's going to be a wild pitch by Fred. So 2-1 the count. Thrasher at the plate. He's the right fielder. Comes the 2-1. Strike called outside corner at the knees. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Runner at second base. Blue Devils clinging to a 5-2 lead in this final game of the 4-game set. They've taken 2 out of the first 3. There's a pop-up on the infield. Harder call him for that. Going to drift out toward the outfield and just behind second base. He brings that one in for the first out of the inning. So that's going to bring up Sudi. Sudi's got a base hit, a double, and a ground out to the shortstop. He'll step in with 1 out and a runner at second base. Adam Tice, who reached on an error and then moved up on a wild pitch. A little bit low, ball 1. Comes the 1-0. Outside and in the dirt, backhanded by Everett. 2-0 the count. Comes the 2-0, outside, ball 3. Comes the 3-0, outside, ball 4. So 1 out. Runners at first and second. Tice at second. Sudi at first. Brings up Dagan Brady, the designated hitter. He struck out twice and had a base hit to left field. He'll step in with 1 out, 2 on. Strike called. Outside corner at the knees. Time is called by Everett, the catcher. Swing and a miss. 0-2. 0-2 the count. Matt Fred on in relief. Comes the 0-2. There's a ball headed to the left field corner. 1 RBI on that, double into the corner. So that's going to bring it to 5-3. Brady with a double into the left field corner. Going to have a visit to the mound. That makes it 5-3 with just 1 out here in the top of the 8th. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back. All right, the visit is over. Fred will stay in. Runners at second and third. 1 out. Chase Curtis at the plate. Strike 1 called inside corner at the knees. Curtis has a base hit, grounded out to the first baseman, and called out on strikes. He's down in the count of 1-1 here. Just a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 5-3 lead. 1 run in the inning for the Panthers. Blue Devils with a 5-0 lead going to the 7th, and the Panthers chipping away with 2 and then 1. That ball's a little bit high and inside. 2-1 the count. Chase Curtis at the plate. Comes the 2-1. A little bit low, ball 3. So 3-1 the count to the left fielder. There's a foul ball off the foot, so we'll go 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners at second and third for the Panthers. Here comes the 3-2. Foul ball back to the screen. So we'll do the 3-2 again. Five to 3 lead here in the top of the 8th inning. Panthers still batting with 1 out. There's a ground ball. Bednar up with it. Long throw and a scoop for the out. So a nice drop by Hinestroza. Deep throw into shallow, just barely into left field for the out, but another run in. 5-4 now with 2 outs. Going to have a visit to the mound. That will be a pitching change to be made. 5-4, 2 outs. We'll make the change and get the information, and we'll be back. So Gabe Ramos from Deltona, Florida, will come in to pitch for the Blue Devils. They now have just a one-run lead with a runner at third and Sam Cassane to the plate. There's a swing and a miss of that first pitch from Ramos. Cassane has grounded out to the first baseman, been called out and doubled, called out on a strike. There's a foul ball backing out of play. So 2 pitches, 2 strikes, 1 miss, 1 foul. A strikeout here would be awesome. And that's going to be just not sure where that missed. Must have been low end or outside, but 1 ball, 2 strikes on Cassane. There's a line drive into right field. It's going to be an error, I believe, on the right fielder. So the run is going to score to tie it up. We'll see how they score it. It has scored an error on the right field. He had a beat on the light drive, hit it to the corner, and just at the last second, I think, took the eye off of it, and an error is marked for the right fielder. So that ties it at 5. Runner at second, 2 outs. Back to the top of the order in Aranda. Comes the 1-0 outside. Top of the 8th action. The Panthers have tied it up. Strike called outside corner. 2 balls and a strike, 2 outs. Runner at second. Cassane. Comes the 2-1 outside. 3 balls and a strike to Aranda. 3-1, runner at second. Go ahead run at second base. There's ball 4 high. So that brings up Brotman. He's got 2 strikeouts and 2 groundouts in this second game. In the first game, he had a couple of base hits and a called out on strikes. He'll be up there with 2 outs and runners at first and second. Curveball catches the outside corner at the knees, 0-1. Gabe Ramos in to try and get this inning finished. That's inside, ball 1. 1 ball and a strike. Pickoff played a second, and Ramos was on one page and Harder was on another page. Harder had to turn the page quickly to get back to get that throw that was headed for center field. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs. Comes the 1-1 in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike. Comes the 2-1 from Ramos. Outside, ball 3. Want to get this out here. do not want to face Garrison with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Here comes the 3-1. There's a swing and a miss by Brotman, so now 3-2. Now the runners will be moving. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Comes the stretch and the pitch from Ramos. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. So we go to the bottom half of the 8th with the game tied at 5. We'll be back for the rest of this one. Stay with us. To the bottom of the 8th we go, tied. New pitcher for the Panthers, Alex DeBay from Leawood, Kansas. He'll bring his 1.23 ERA to the mound, and he will face a pinch hitter. Jared Goodfellow will pinch hit for Harrison. Final ball back to the screen. Comes the 0-1. Swing and a miss by Goodfellow. So down in the count 0-2 to DeBay. DeBay, a tall right-hander from Leawood. JT Goodfellow at the plate. Here comes the 0-2. Just misses a little bit outside, 1-2. Goodfellow from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Pinch hitting here for Harrison. Comes the 1-2. Foul ball back to the screen. Comes the 1-2. Outside, ball 2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to JT Goodfellow. Swing and a miss for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up Acosta. Acosta has grounded to the shortstop and a fielder's choice, had a home run to left field, and flew out to right field. He'll step in with the score knotted up at 5 here as the Blue Devils bat in the bottom of the 8th. 1 out. There's a base hit into left field. So a 1-out hit for the Blue Devils by Acosta. And the go-ahead run is now at first. That's going to bring up Harder. Harder has 3 base hits and a walk in this game with 2 RBI. He'll be facing DeBay, the reliever for the Panthers. There is a foul ball back to the screen. Oh, and 1 the count, 1 out, runner at first, which is Acosta, Eduardo Acosta. He is the go-ahead run. Comes the 0-1. Foul ball back into the screen again. Oh, and 2 the count. Score tied at 5. Comes the 0-2 outside, ball 1, 1-2 the count. Blue Devils with 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. And the Panthers with 2 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th to tie it at 5. Here we are in the bottom of the 8th, 9-inning game. Here comes the 1-2. That's high and outside. Throw down to first. Back in safely is Acosta. 2-2 the count on Harder. Harder, the second baseman. Comes the 2-2. Foul ball back to the screen again. We'll do the 2-2 again. Harder was 0 for 3 in the first game, and he's 3 for 3 in this game with 2 RBI, looking to see if he can move Acosta up. Here comes the 2-2. High fly ball into shallow left field. Shortstop out and going to take care of that. So the second out of the inning. Pop out to shallow left field to the second baseman, or excuse me, the shortstop. That's going to bring up Eric Hinestroza. Hinestroza has a walk, a ground out on a fielder's choice, a base hit, and a strikeout. So he's got about 1 of anything possible that can happen. See if he can move Acosta up to try and get this run across the plate. DeBay on in relief. Strike called at the knees, right down the middle. Owen won the count. DeBay to Acosta. DeBay a righty. Acosta in on the left-handed side. Strike called outside corner at the knees. So 0-2 the count to Hinestroza. Comes the 0-2. Ground ball headed at the shortstop. He's got it. Going to throw across to first. and out at first. So at the end of 8 full innings, we're tied at 5. We'll be back for the 9th. Stay with us. Ramos back to the mound. Top of the 9th, tied at 5. Garrison, Tice, and Thrasher scheduled up for the Panthers. Garrison has a couple of walks, a base hit, and a ground out. There's a ball all the way to the screen for ball 1. Comes the pitch. There's a high fly ball to center field. Acosta under that and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up Adam Tice, the second baseman, the number 4 hitter. He's got a walk, called out on strikes twice, and reached on an error in this game. He was 0 for 2 with a walk and a couple of flyouts in the first game. There's a foul ball for strike 1. Tice, the second baseman, the number 4 hitter. He bats here with 1 out. Strike right through there, 0 and 2. Comes the wind in the 0-2. Fastball outside. 1 and 2 the count on Tice. Breaking ball right through there for strike 3 called. So 2 outs. It's going to bring up Khalil Thrasher, the right fielder. He's grounded out twice, struck out once, popped out to the second baseman. There's a foul off the catcher and back to the screen. So 0-1, the count on the right fielder, Thrasher. Comes the 0-1. Swing and a miss of that high ball there. Little gift there from the batter to the pitcher, Ramos. There's a foul ball backing out of play. So we'll do the 0-2 again. Sudi waits in the on-deck circle if Thrasher can keep this going for the Panthers. Ramos going to try and keep that from happening. That is a close miss there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Comes the 1-2. Foul ball going to get out of play again. So 1 and 2 the count, but a 5-pitch at bat for Khalil Thrasher, the right fielder. Comes the 1-2. High for ball 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. We're all knotted up at 5 here in the top of the 9th. Neosho Panthers and the Blue Devils. There's a swing and a miss for the 3rd out. So we go to the bottom of the 9th, tied. Blue Devils looking for 1 to finish this thing. We'll be back. DeBay back to the mound for his 2nd inning of work. Santiago, Sosa, and Henry up for the Blue Devils, trying to get 1 to end this thing. Strike right through there. Breaking pitch outside part of the plate at the belt. 0-1 the count. Foul ball back to the screen, so 0-2 the count on Santiago. Comes the 0-2. There's a ball headed down the right field line. Nice chase by Sudi, but going to be foul. So we'll do the 0-2 again. On to the count. A fly ball to center field. That's going to be taken care of by Kassane for the 1st out of the inning. It's going to bring up Sosa. Sosa's struck out, grounded out, and flown out twice in this game. Comes the first pitch to him. Is a swing and a miss. He was 2 for 3 in the first game with a base hit, a walk, a ground out, and a home run. Swing and a miss of that, so he's down 0-2. Seems like I remember on his home run ball, he might have been down 2 strikes, and the guys up here said he was maybe trying to do too much with it. There's a ball headed into right field, so there's a base hit. Probably look for a pinch runner here. But Sosa with a base hit to right field with 1 out. Guys, can you help me with the number? Is that 15? Michael Edgar going to pinch run Michael is from Lee Summit, Missouri. He'll be on at first base after that hit by Sosa to right field. It's going to bring up Henry. Henry's been called out on strikes, hit a line drive to right field, and then back-to-back base hits. A little bit low, ball one. 1-0 the count to Tyler Henry. Winning run at first. Strike called inside, corner at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. 1 run needed to finish this thing. DeBay on the mound trying to do otherwise. We'll see what happens. There's a high fly ball to left field. The left fielder, Chase Curtis, takes care of that for the second out. It's going to bring up Griffin Everett. Griffin has a base hit, called out on strikes, and then a couple of base on balls. Griffin is a third in the conference with triples. A double here would be fine. There's a line drive up the middle for a base hit. So a base hit. Edgar able to only move up to second. So 2 outs with runners at first and second. So a fly out, a base hit, a fly out, and a base hit, and that's going to bring up Kemper Bednar. Kemper's had a sac bunt, pop out to the second baseman, a bunt hit, and a fly out to center field. He's up there with 2 outs and 2 on. The winning run at second base. Here comes the pitch. Misses high and outside, ball 1. So the Panthers need an out. The Blue Devils need a run. Let's see which we get here. 1-0 the count. There's a check swing foul ball down the first base line. So 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs. The winning run at second base. DeBay on the mound in relief, a tall right-hander. Comes the 1-1. It's a ground ball hit at the shortstop. He's going to go to second. We're going extras. At the end of 9, we're tied at 5. We'll be back. Stay with us. Ramos back to work. To the top of the 10th we go. Sudi, Brady, and Curtis scheduled up for the Panthers. Sudi has a single, a double, a ground out, and a walk. He'll lead off the top of the 10th for the Panthers. He takes strike one. 0-1 the count. Comes the 0-1. There's a line drive base hit headed to right center. It's going to be a base hit. Wonder if we get a pinch runner here. We'll see. Leadoff hit for Donovan Sudi, and he's got 3 hits. Connor Jeffers is going to pinch run for Donovan Sudi. So the go-ahead run is on with nobody out. Throw back over to first, back in safely. Back in safely again, trying to get a look to see if they're going to bunt. They need 1 run to take the lead. Dagan Brady, the designated hitter. See if he's going to square to bunt here. Santiago in on the grass. There's the bunt. It's up. Going to get out of play and back into the crowd. So 0-1 the count on Dagan Brady. Tied at 5, top of the 10th. Ramos in relief. There's a throw over to first, back in safely. Is Jeffers, the pinch runner after the Sudi base hit. There's another foul ball, so now 2 strikes. We'll see how that changed things. Jeffer, I'm just hard-headed enough that sometimes I say, you're going to get this bunt down and get him over to second or you're going to be out. We'll see if coach of 33 years for the Panthers feels that way or not. Generally, they don't. There's a foul ball back to the screen. So Coach Steve Miller of the Panthers going to have him swing rather than bunt. On to the count. Go ahead, run it first. Nobody out. Just a little bit outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Back in safely again at first. Batter steps out with 2 strikes. Pitcher goes ahead and throws, and that's going to be a punch out. Coach is going to come out and visit that a little bit, but I don't see that changing. So 1 out now with a runner at first. That's going to bring up Chase Curtis. Curtis has a base hit, grounded out twice, and called out on strikes in this second game. Throw over to first, back in safely. High ball 1. Want to know the count on Chase Curtis. Comes the pitch. That is also up high for ball 2. 2-0 to Curtis. Foul ball back and out of play, so 2 balls and a strike on Chase Curtis, the left fielder. Comes the 2-1, runner goes, strike is called, and the runner is out at second base. So the go-ahead run is thrown out, strike is called. So 2-2 the count, I believe, with 2 outs. And strike 3 on that pitch. So at the end of 9.5, we're tied at 5. The Blue Devils need 1 to finish this thing. Let's go get it. Stay with us. We'll be back. Okay, to the bottom of the 10th we go. DeBay back for another inning of work. And Matt Schrick is going to pinch hit for JT Goodfellow, who pinch hit. Strike 1, 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss. Bottom of the 10th. Matt Schrick pinch hitting, so Schrick, Acosta, and Harder scheduled up. There's a fly ball to center field. The center fielder Cassane takes care of that one. So that's going to bring up Acosta. Acosta has a home run, a fly out, a base hit, and a ground out in this second game. Pitch is a little bit low, ball 1. One and 0 the count. DeBay to Acosta. There's a ground ball right back up the middle. Almost gets the pitcher. Almost gets second base. But there's a 1-out hit for Acosta. So back to the top of the order in Harder. Harder has 3 base hits, a pop out to the shortstop, and a base on balls. In this second game, he'll be up there with Acosta at first and 1 out. Runner is going, high chopper to the third baseman, over to first, and Harder is out. Not sure if that was a straight hit and run. I'm guessing so. Wouldn't have thought that Coach would have him stealing there, but you never know. But nonetheless, 2 outs. Hinestrosa coming to the plate with the winning run at second base. Hinestrosa has walked, grounded out twice, had a base hit, and struck out. He'll step in on the left-handed side to face the tall righty DeBay with the winning run at second base. 2 outs, bottom of the 10th, knotted up at 5. Blue Devils hosting the Panthers from Neosho County. Swing and a miss, throw back behind, but back in safely is Acosta. Owen won the count on Acosta, or excuse me, Hinestrosa. Acosta at second. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike to the left-handed hitting Hinestrosa. Comes the 1-1. A little bit low, ball 2. 2-1 the count. 2 outs, runner at second. That runner at second represents the winning run here in this final 4-game set from 2 yesterday and 2 today. Comes the 2-1. Swing and a miss, so 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Here comes the 2-2. Low, ball 3. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at second. DeBay on the mound for Neosho County. Eric Hinestrosa, the first baseman, at the plate for the Blue Devils, trying to get Acosta home from second. That's high, ball 4. So that'll bring up Santiago. Santiago has grounded out a couple of times, had a base hit, and flown out twice. He'll step in with runners at first and second. Acosta the winning run at second base. Strike called. 0-1 the count. Oh and 1 to Santiago, the third baseman. Strike 2 called. Outside part of the plate at the knees. 0-2 the count in Dubay's way. Comes the stretch and the 0-2. Swing and a miss. So we go to the 11th, tied at 5. Top of the 11th. Ramos still on the mound. It's a ground ball at Harder by Cassane. Over to first for the out. So Harder to Hinestroza for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Brotman. Brotman will be up there with one out. A little bit outside, ball one. Excuse me, that brings up Aranda. That was Cassane that made the first out. Wrote it down wrong, said it right. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Just misses low and outside. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Aranda. Aranda 2 for 4 with a couple of base hits in this second game. Strike called, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Comes the 2-2. Swing and a miss of that pitch for the second out of the inning. So that's going to bring up Brotman. Brotman has a couple of strikeouts, a couple of ground outs, and a called third strike. I believe we have a pinch hitter here. Nope, it is Brotman. First pitch is a strike. There's a foul back to the screen, the second strike. So 0-2 the count on Brotman. Two outs, nobody on. Ramos in relief for the Blue Devils. There's a swing and a miss, so we'll go to the bottom half of the 11th, tied at 5. We'll be back. Bottom of the 11th we go. Pinch hitter Brady Holder. Holder, Henry, and Everett scheduled up. Blue Devils looking for one run to win this thing. There's a ball high and inside, 1-0 the count. Comes the 1-0. High fly ball straight up. We'll see if the catcher, Garrison, can take care of this, and he does. So Holder pops out to the catcher for the first out of the inning. And Tyler Henry is now going to hit with one out. So Henry has been called out on strikes, lined out to right field, had a couple of base hits, then flew out to left field. He'll be up there with one out, seeing if he can get on base. Ball a little bit low. See if he can get on to get things started here. 1-0 the count. It's a fly ball to deep left field, sending the center fielder back and to the warning track, but caught by Cruz Aranda. He gave it a ride and gave it a shot, but second out of the inning. It's going to bring up Griffin Everett. Yeah, if he hits that ball to anywhere other than up the middle of the field, if he pulls it or swings late, either way, it's out of here, but not in that part of the park. Strike one on Griffin Everett as he swings and misses. Everett has been called out on strikes, lined out to right field. Or excuse me, that was the wrong one. Everett has a base hit, two base hits, a called strike. Called out on strikes. There's a strike there for 0-2 and a couple of base on balls in this second game. So 0-2 the count quickly on Everett. Just a little bit low there, 1-2. Comes the wind and the 1-2 from DeBay. No swing on that check swing. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 11th, tied at 5. Neosho County Community College Panthers and the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Blue Devils. Here comes the 2-2 from DeBay to Everett. There's a ball deep to left field. See if that ball can get over, and it does. So Everett with the walk-off home run to win this one 6-5. Let Everett get in there and touch that plate, and there is the celebration with Griffin Everett and the walk-off home run to make 3 wins and 1 loss in this 4-game set with Neosho. Want to thank those of you for listening and watching. I appreciate it as always. Would really like for you to subscribe and click that bell, and it'll let you know every time we have a game where we go on. So the walk-off, and this one is the final in 11. Final in 11 innings. I appreciate those of you that watched and listened. We will see you next time. On Wednesday night, I will give a report at this same website check us out, give you an update of what happened this week, kind of what's going on in the conference, and then give you some information about the upcoming schedule and upcoming series. Thanks for listening. Be safe. See you next time. Thank you.